What I'm going to read to you today is just a little section where they're discussing a fraud. Tansy, the main character, has discovered a fraud at work, a pretty plain Jane fraud. It's an accounts payable fraud where someone set up a fake vendor and they're putting in false invoices and collecting money. And so she's having lunch in Houston with her old friends that are real, they're in the swank set, and now she's has an entry-level job after her really bad divorce. So they're having dinner, and she says, I think I've uncovered a fraud, I say, changing the topic. I gave them the particulars of the Maisie caper, including the sports car and the dowdy appearance. What are you going to do about it, Beth asks. Prosecute? Not sure. I tried to tell my boss, but I just haven't had a chance, I answer. Grant is an insurance executive and begins a tale he heard about from a colleague. Years ago, my buddy over at Marsh was asked to cover a claim on a fraud down in Brazil. One of the major oil companies, not sure which one, had a posh office down there. In the president's office hung a very expensive oil painting, a Mark Rothko, I think. During the collapse of oil prices in the mid-'80s, the office was closed, and when the painting was appraised for shipment back to the States, they discovered it was a forgery. Oh no, did they know who stole the real one? I asked with a smile. They thought, but could not prove, that sometime during her employment, the president's secretary had substituted the original with a copy, and no one had noticed. Can you imagine this woman who probably loved art working for this Jethro who would have preferred dogs playing poker or a Velvet Elvis? Beth laughs. You have no idea what it is like to work for people like that, I chime in. I'd probably do the same thing if I was clever enough to think of it. The best crimes are the ones where no one can figure out who done them, Grant concludes, and we all laugh. I went to a continuing education seminar on fraud a while back, I say. The instructor referred to it as the fraud triangle to explain the factors that cause someone to commit a fraud. The theory is that there must be pressure, opportunity, and the ability to rationalize the act. This guy took it one step further. He thought that everyone had the potential to commit a fraud. The tipping point is unique to each person. It's in every one of us, though. Beth takes exception to this. I would never steal. Not even if you were starving to death or your child was starving, you wouldn't steal a piece of bread? Didn't you see Les Miserables? Well, maybe, but that's different. It isn't different, though. It's just a matter of degrees. Beth and Grant have so much money, they would never feel the pressure to steal because they could always buy what they needed. The same triangle applies to unethical behavior other than stealing, such as cheating on your wife, I say. Pressure, you really need to get laid. Opportunity, a beautiful babe is interested in you, a pot-bellied rich old fart. Rationalization, your wife is sick, bored, disgusted by you, or all of the above. I do not have a pot belly, Grant said, grinning. I was talking about Winston, I say. They get quiet. Have you talked to Winston lately? Beth asked. When I say no, Beth and Grant exchange looks. Caroline is pregnant. Did you know? Beth finally says. I down the rest of my martini and signal the waiter to bring me another. Oh my, I muster. Is that a good thing? Grant and Beth decide not to answer my question, and we are saved by the waiter bringing our entrees to the table. Suddenly, I wish I'd ordered the lasagna instead of having what Beth ordered, the broiled fish with steamed spinach, all taste on the side. Impulsively, I take a piece of garlic bread from the basket and consume it in a single bite, issuing Beth a don't judge me look as I reach for another. How would you steal the painting? Grant asks to break the silence. What? You said you would probably do the same thing. How would you go about it? Grant is a sweetheart for trying to take my mind off Winston. I don't know, probably take a picture of the real one, have a forgery made, and then switch them over the weekend or after hours. It's a huge painting. You don't think security would see you? Let me tell you a thing about building security. I begin the tale of Easter Sunday, assuring them that you could probably convince the security guard to hang the fake painting for you and load the priceless one into your car, all without the slightest inquiry as to what you were doing. It always amazes me that businesses tend to leave something so critical under the control of minimum wage rent-a-cops. We finish our dinner, refining criminal strategies, and I'm grateful for the temporary diversion. So that's it. That's what I'm going to read to you.